Good morning, everybody. My name is Ayla. I am from the new federal state of China. For those of you who never heard of us, we stand for the largest unvaccinated community with a mission to take down the Chinese Communist Party. We are survivors of the Chinese Communist government. We are survivors of the CCP virus. And for people who fled from a communist regime to America, they're looking for freedom. But I fear that the communism I fled has reached to the freedom land I stand. In 2017, Miles Guo, the CCP #1 enemy and the founder of the new federal state of China, was invited to be interviewed by Voice of America. Mr. Guo's interview was scheduled to last long 3 hours, and in which he was going to expose massive corruption around CCP top officials and their family members. Sarcastically, officials of Voice of America chose to take orders from Beijing after a few calls and threats of the Communist Party. And I knew from that day, America's freedom is not unlimited and even in real danger. 3 years later, in 2020, the Chinese Communist Party had released the CCP virus, which resulted in the largest pandemic that America had ever experienced. So let's do some math here. How many casualties did America suffer on 9/11? Over 3,000. And how many casualties did the United States suffer from World War II? Over 400,000. And now, what are the numbers of the deaths because of the CCP virus in your country? Over 1.1 million. The CCP virus has killed 3 times more Americans than World War II. And that's not the end of it. How many more Americans will become victims of the CCP virus vaccines? These vaccines were developed and created and promoted by the world's largest pharmaceutical groups, who have been colluded with the Communist Party for years. And what's even worse, the CCP is building new illegal P3 and P4 labs now in the world. During China's COVID lockdown, the Communist Party cut off electricity and internet to prevent people from seeking help or simply telling the truth to the world. They used garbage trucks to deliver rotten food to the deplorables. They put living people into body bags. If this is the way that Chinese Communist Party has treated its own citizens, what can they do to you, the Americans? Today, the new federal state of China will share 2 important pieces of information brought by our heroes who still based in communist China and allowed us to share the information on the stage of Phoenix. I remind you all to remember, CCP is not China. Chinese people are not the CCP. We, Chinese from the new federal state of China, are seeking to overthrow the Chinese communist dictatorship by telling the world the truth. First, the Chinese Communist Party is helping many countries in developing and obtaining nuclear capabilities under the guise of civilian projects. One of my fellow feders from the NFSC shared earlier in this conference room that the CCP's efforts in selling ICBMs reaching to the soil of the United States with nuclear payload to countries in the Middle East. And second, the Chinese Communist Party has been entered spy communication agreements with the neighbor countries of the United States. And these spy partnerships include equipping Honduras, Venezuela, Cuba, Dominica, Brazil, and Argentina with CCP technologies and personnel in monitoring U.S. military operations and communications, and all in preparation for warfare against the United States. In history, Hitler was only months away of launching the nuclear warfare. And today, the dictator Xi Jinping was able to obtain massive nuclear capabilities and initiate such warfare at any time. It is sad and frightening reality that America's freedom and rule of law was bought by the Chinese Communist Party over the years. Major law firms in this country run to open offices in China to defend the interests of the CCP state-owned business. Silicon Valley's handed over sensitive technologies to the Communist Party, let alone Wall Street, who have been colluded and slept with the communists for decades. So America, it's the time to stop funding your biggest enemy in this world. It is the time to decouple from Communist China.